Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome back to 10 Count. I'm Steve Fall, but on today's edition, I'm going to do a shooting star press and get an RKO, maybe. Talking to Matt Sydal, how are you today?
I'm grooving, man. What's up?
Oh, man, grooving. I love it. I love you. You sound like my uncle. He's a bit of a hippie, so maybe you guys have something in common. I'm not sure. He's got like a Gandalf beard as well, which I'm quite impressed by, but you, I don't know. I don't see a Gandalf beard working on you. Would you grow one?
I used to have like a thicker thing going on here, like
Yeah.
right when 2014, 2015, but I like it just like this now.
You look great. You look great. Slicked hair
Thank
back.
you.
I feel like you could jump into some grease, but we're not talking about grease. We're talking about primetime wrestling Kinguin Saturday, November 26th. Huge event. Huge event. Now, how excited are you? Because you were here in February. Now you're back here today. As a world traveler, it must be exciting to go everywhere for wrestling, especially this huge event.
Yeah, last time we kicked things off for PTW in Krakow, and that show was awesome. The crowd was great. Like even the concession stand food was really good. I ate some local food that was like I would compare it to like American chili sort of, but better. And so everything was great last time, except for as I was winning my match against Starboy Nano. As I was pinning him, I leaned back and my knee was folded under my body and it went pop. And I just heard this horrible pop. This is back in February.
Yeah.
And I had to sit out of the ring for about 3 months. And it's been a long journey, a lot of recovery, a lot of rehabilitation work. So I am really excited to come back and reconquer PTW and do it this time without any injuries. And just really, it was an electric crowd last time. So I'm looking forward to lighting this place up again.
Yeah, the production value is outstanding. If you look up Kinguin Primetime Wrestling on YouTube or anywhere, really, you watch it, it's very cinematic. Beforehand, you look at cinematic matches and people are like, oh, this is because of the pandemic. No. Like they're producing at a high quality level, which is crazy. And you're taking on the former WWE wrestler Kalisto. So like this is a huge match for a lot of people because two high flyers going at it. How exciting is it, you think, for the fans to watch you guys go at it?
Yeah, well, you sort of brought up like the cool thing about wrestling being such an international sport and us traveling all over the world. I think the cool thing with Samurai Del Sol and myself is like we've been all over the world, but we sort of have slightly different areas of influence. I think that's what's going to make this match really cool. But I mean, I'm trained in the Ultimo Dragon style Dragon Gate, which came from Mexico, but Japanese wrestling. And then I studied with I basically wrestled Chavo Guerrero for a year straight and worked my way into that Guerrero lineage. And so I really feel like when me and Kalisto step in the ring, it's just going to be fire. And I mean, we're just both going to be trying to show Poland exactly what we want them to think of when they think of pro wrestling, when they think of primetime wrestling. It's going to be a match like we're going to have tomorrow night.
Man, again, it's a huge weekend for wrestling, and especially, there's so much going on, but obviously this one, people need to sit down, grab the kids, grab the grandparents, the dogs, the cats, sit down and enjoy this matchup, because I know you versus Kalisto is going to be just mind-boggling crazy. So the injury you had in February, is that the injury that caused you to miss AEW TV?
Yes.
Wow. So
yeah.
I asked Matt Cardona this question before, where was Billy Corgan upset with him when he was heading into Always Ready as champion, but he got injured at a different event? Was there a backlash to you getting injured at a different event, but not on Tony Khan's card?
I'll tell you what happened when Tony Khan found out what my injury was. He jumped up and hugged me because we didn't need surgery. I mean, he's as supportive as you could be, as like encouraging as you could be. I mean, it was a setback. Everybody felt it, like taking the air out of a balloon when that happened, especially sometimes I kind of have an injury. I feel like I have injuries haunting me left and right. But this time it just made me more focused on coming back, made me more angry, made me more like just lit that fire in me, because I don't have all the time in the world. I don't have a huge career in front of me. I have 22 years behind me. But everything that's left, every match that's left is going to be the best match of my life, because I'm at my best right now and I'm putting out my best work. And tomorrow night against Kalisto is going to be the most fun I've ever had in the ring.
Man, that's going to be insane. Now with AEW, obviously you've kind of had to step back because of this injury, but yet in AEW, who is the person that when you first signed, you were like, I got to wrestle this person immediately?
I mean, that is a great question, and the answer is the Young Bucks. That's why I went to AEW. That's why I left Impact, because I wanted to go to AEW, because I wanted to wrestle the Young Bucks again. And I was really lucky. I got to have a match with me and my brother Mike against the Young Bucks. Mike and I also wrestled the Lucha Bros. I mean, we had a string of great matches. And then unfortunately, Mike got hurt. He hurt his back on the Jericho cruise, as we wrestled 4 nights in a row. It was crazy. But yeah, so I mean, I had a great, coming back. I was working with Dante Martin a lot of Top Flight.
Yeah,
Dante and Darius. So you know what I mean. I love everything that's going on in AEW. I watch every single match like a maniac. I am all in with AEW. But the beautiful thing is AEW lets us share what we love with everyone around the world.
that's true too. One more question about AEW though. So obviously they keep adding championships and people are loving it, trios titles. And then you have, TBS, you have TNT. Do you think there's room for an AEW Cruiserweight championship belt? Or is that just everyone could be in that group?
Yeah, or I mean, we could just start going after the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, because that's the New Japan title, and I think it has one of the strongest lineages out of any championship in all of pro wrestling. And so, given that, I mean, that would be an iconic belt to represent and to hold. But also, if AEW started their own Junior Heavyweight division or Cruiserweight division, whatever you want to call it, yeah, that's my division. I would be owning it. I would be on top of it, and people would be fighting for my spot. Because when it comes to junior heavyweight wrestling, like since the first time I went to Japan, I was winning junior heavyweight belts. I mean, it's just who I am. I'm not trying to be anything other than a guy who's 5'8", 165 pounds, and ready to fight. And I love fighting guys in my weight class. I mean, I've beat Mark Henry. I've wrestled the Big Show. I've been in there with the biggest guys. But for me, what I want to look somebody square in the eye, dead on, and go toe to toe with somebody who's like of equal skill, because I think sometimes styles make fights. And the junior heavyweight division is what got me into wrestling. If it wasn't for Super Crazy and Tajiri, Rey Mysterio versus Psychosis, Eddie and Dean, all these guys that came before us, that's what I want to carry forward. And I mean, like a lot of the guys I lost to in junior heavyweight matches, Will Ospreay, Kenny Omega, these guys went on to become heavyweights. They're kind of basically heavyweights that were just buddy. These beautiful, I mean, just the best wrestlers. But they also just had some significant advantages on me too. But that's why I love looking forward to this match with Samurai Del Sol, because we're going to be eye to eye. We're going to be toe to toe, and it's just going to be seeing who's the better man tomorrow night. But I've got a lot to defend. That's why I'm wearing this PTW shirt.
I saw.
This is my bed. This is my place. I'm starting this. This is going to be on my back. And, I want to be the spokesperson. I want the spotlight, and I don't even mind doing the interviews.
Thank you for not minding doing the interview. I really appreciate that. I feel good about myself right now. Thank you. Yeah. I do appreciate that. But you do own the award for the greatest RKO of all time, and shooting star press into that. Now, do you practice that? Do you have an idea and you're like, I think I could do this? Or you go out, you try it on air. If it doesn't work, it didn't work. Or is there practice?
This was just a well-discussed item, but I mean, it really wasn't even that well discussed. I think I said something to Randy on Sunday, like, hey, if we ever wrestle, let's do shooter into the RKO. And the next day we just went and did it.
Wow.
Because he's a master of that, a master of time. And all I had to do was jump like I was going to crush him. Well, so it's really on Randy at that point. When we just throw it in the air, that's how it is with wrestling. It's life or death every single time we step in the ring. It's insane. I know you guys don't want to think about it, but it is high risk, high reward. And we have to take these risks every time. We have to go to the next level. We have to take the chance. And so, that was one where we just put it into the air and just jumped.
Oh my God. But you mentioned earlier about primetime wrestling too. You like to do, you don't mind doing the interviews, and you're obviously trying to represent the brand. Is that really the goal, is to be the face of a company like Primetime Wrestling and continue the growth? Because again, I'm discovering more and more of this federation as the days go on, as the minutes go on. So like, I think right now in wrestling, you have so many organizations with the internet booming even more than it ever has. Is that your goal really, is to put this organization on the map further with your face planted on it?
Well, I mean, I really think Primetime Wrestling is doing all the work, but I'm honored to be given that spot at the top because, I'm not just trying to inspire the fans here. I'm trying to inspire these local wrestlers. I want to show them like the way that I was taught, and then hopefully that'll inspire them to create their own crowds. Like, I'm not going to be the one that's going to really be the big draw here. It's going to be some of these local wrestlers like Starboy Nano that I wrestled last time. But all these, it's their federation, but I'm here to show them what world-class wrestling is. And I'll never forget the first time I got beat up by Kid Cash, the first time I wrestled any of these guys that were just the next level above you in wrestling. And you don't know that level exists. You start at the local level, you just work your way up. And, we're just trying to put on a great wrestling show for everybody to watch and enjoy. I mean, we just all love pro wrestling. And in the United States right now, everybody's at this Starcade, or what's it called? The Thanksgiving.
Oh,
There's a
WrestleCade.
big convention, WrestleCade.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've done it a number of times, but I choose to come out here to do this because I like being on the frontier. I like being on the edge of things. I want to see where these people, where wrestling is everywhere.
Yeah, this weekend there is, you have obviously, as we're recording right now, tonight will be SmackDown, Undertaker's one-man show. Tomorrow is your show, Primetime Wrestling, Kinguin. You have Survivor Series. You can roll into the weekend and just find wrestling everywhere, and I think that's what makes wrestling extra special. Is sometimes football is only on one day of the week. Wrestling, it feels like you could Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It could be on every single channel, and you could enjoy it too. But you mentioned Kid Cash. You mentioned Tajiri earlier, and Super Crazy. When I first experienced you in the WWE, you were on the ECW brand. Now, obviously, it sounds like you were a fan of the original ECW for bringing up Tajiri and Super Crazy. Were there promises when you were signed, hey, we're going to put you on ECW, and by the way, it's not the one you remember?
Oh man, dude! Like I loved ECW with my whole heart. Like it's what got me from being somebody who watched wrestling to getting out in the backyard and dragon suplexing my brother.
Same.
Like that's where that conversion happened. It reached through the camera and just grabbed me and just said, "Like, this is it." So when I went to WWE, they didn't. When I was in Dragon Gate, I got signed on Nova's last day as head of talent relations. He mailed me a contract on his last day after they told me they weren't going to send me one. I did a tryout. They said, no, we're not hiring junior heavyweights. If we do, we'll call you, but we don't have a division for guys like you. But somehow they sent me a contract, and I showed up to OVW 2 weeks later, and they didn't even know I was supposed to be there. So there were nothing guaranteed. When I debuted on ECW, I also wasn't supposed to even be at that show. I just basically showed up on my own, because that's how we do things in the Wild West. You had to make your own breaks back then. There was no system. They weren't trying to bring me up. I wasn't a chosen one or a picked talent. So I called myself up to the big roster. And as soon as I wrestled Jamie Noble in a dark match, people really saw what I had. Well, they really saw what Jamie Noble had, what Jamie Noble was able to pull out of me, because that's what we do in this business. People raise you up to their level. And that's what Jamie Noble did to me. And after that, I was booked every single week. That's it. They could not use me. I was booked on this. I wasn't just booked on ECW. I was booked on the Raw ECW events, but I was on every Super show. I was, from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. We had a show every night.
Well, I think because the Evan Bourne character is very relatable to, I guess, children at the time, because you're high flying, you're jumping around, and it looked really good, because at the time you brought it up, no junior heavyweights. It seemed like there was only Rey Mysterio. And it was like, if there was anybody else, it's like you weren't allowed to ever go up or down. It seemed like you're the high flyer. That's what we need you for. We'll call you. Is that how you felt with your career? Because it felt like it was, we're going up, we're going down, we're going up, we're going down. And then it was a straight line.
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely feel like my previous wrestling style before WWE was much more technical, much more grappling based. I loved grappling and that kind of stuff. But when you get to WWE and you look around, you're like, all right, I'm time to be the floor. I'm not picking anybody up. I gave up on all that. It's not going to work. They're huge. I mean, I had to wrestle Sheamus 14 days in a row in Europe. You don't understand how big these guys are compared to me. They're gigantic. Like literally men twice my size. I always have, and physically, it's combat every time.
Yeah.
So you know, it was great, and high flying was fun, but some of those guys really didn't know how to. I went from a place where everybody could do double head scissors and the most and did ranas with the most intense precision, to sort of somewhere where the precision hadn't been acquired yet. You know, it was still on the way up. But now, if you look at what's going on now, you got Ricochet and Ali carrying the torch. You got all these guys carrying the torch. So
That's true. That's true. So you did, I guess you were kind of like bringing it there, but obviously some people have to, you create the pathway and then now they're walking through it because of Evan Bourne and Air Boom and all that good stuff. I love me some Evan Bourne and I love me some Matt Sydal. Though again, remember November 26th, primetime wrestling, Kinguin, you versus the former WWE wrestler Kalisto. I'm pumped. You're pumped. We are all pumped. Again, one final question. What do you want the fans to feel when they leave Kinguin Primetime Wrestling after seeing you kick the crap out of Kalisto?
oh man, so my dream, like, so after the last PTW show, I finished the match and just went straight into the crowd. And I mean, it was a party out there. I had people inviting me out to nightclubs. I mean, it was awesome. And that's what I want people to feel like. I don't really care if they remember even what anybody's name is. I just want them laughing and having a good time. Like I want the memories they make not to be of what they're watching, but I want it to be of the person that they're sitting in the crowd with, the person who they came in the car with, whatever fun joke they can make fun of somebody on the way back. Like for me and my brothers and my friends, when we loved wrestling, like we just love kind of making fun of the guys or have like, you know, making up a nickname for somebody. Oh, look at old Blue Pants over there, or whatever it happens to be. Like, so I remember having fun at these shows, and I want people to take that kind of like lighthearted fun with them too.
Well, that sounds. I
So
know. I want to jump in
the.
I want to jump in the crowd now with you.
Thinking about, hey, I'll come back next time to see that old Matt Sydal. Boy, he still got it.
I hope no one calls you old Matt
go.
Sydal. Maybe that's the neighborhood kids. Oh, that crazy old Matt Sydal there. Get off my lawn. No, you're not. You're not that. I think we're the same age. But Matt Sydal, thank you so much for being here on Tang Count, talking about Kinguin's Primetime Wrestling. Remember, November 26th is a huge weekend for wrestling. Don't miss out. Don't miss out. I'm having a good time. It's going to be a great event. But I've been Steve Fall. He's been Matt Sydal. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.